This is my Speak Up report that I submitted to my university about the president of my organization calling Charlie Kirk a good guy. Yesterday, 9/11/25, at the start of our all-hands meeting, the president called notorious neo-Nazi Charlie Kirk a good guy and cried about his being gone. A black gender marginalized colleague of mine told me that this happened prior to my entering the stream, and when I arrived, I saw messages in the chat also calling Kirk a godly man, alongside a few others disagreeing that he was a good person. After triangulating the experience I had been told about by my coworker, I wrote in the live stream chat, "I just got here. Charlie Kirk was a neo-Nazi." Followed a little later by, "Tears for neo-Nazis don't belong in higher education," because he also cried about it, if I didn't say that earlier. Multiple coworkers I've never met before in the chat responded to that by threatening anyone who might fit the bill that prior coworkers have been fired for saying negative things in prior all-hands chats before. This was a clear threat meant to strike fear into me that my calling Charlie Kirk exactly who he was would be a fireable offense that can likely be referenced in the larger chat archive. I responded to those threats by something akin to, speaking against hate and being hateful are not the same thing. Folks in this chat need to learn the difference in pursuit of liberation for all. Now today, my manager scheduled a quick 30-minute chat with me on my calendar for this afternoon with the equivalent of HR scheduled to be in attendance. I should note I was just granted a raise that will go into effect later this month. After my manager sent me a message alerting me of this impromptu meeting, I asked them directly, as an autistic person I am known to do, "Am I being fired?" And she responded, "No, just a coaching moment," to which I replied, "Can you tell me a little more about what I can expect to be talking about as an accommodation?" And they said, "Alignment with leadership principles. And I also see you have the word accommodation, so we will also discuss further how to go about supporting you in getting official accommodations in place. I have told my manager in the past that I am not seeking formal diagnosis or documentation of my autism, despite a therapist telling me that I'm autistic in 2019, because they transparently told me that I shouldn't because it would hurt me more than it would help me at this point because of my PhD, aka because of the systemic discrimination normalized in this country and worldwide. This meeting felt like retaliation and workplace discrimination, of which autistic folks are statistically highly likely to experience compared to the general public. During the meeting, they detailed that this was what the meeting was about, and they told me that the all-hands meeting was not the place to speak out against covert and overt discrimination when I see it occurring. While I understand their sentiment, this feels like the antithesis of what is righteous in the case of neo-Nazi sympathizing. As a media and communication expert in identities, relationships, technologies, and systems of power, when you see Nazi sympathizing behavior in public, it is of the utmost importance that you call that what it is, as not to tolerate or normalize eugenics and fascist logics and practices anywhere. Charlie Kirk made $12 million off of a far-right neo-Nazi platform of overt hatred, racisms, ableisms, classisms, cis-heterosexisms, all which were covert and overt white supremacy in action. There was nothing good guy about that. The HR representative recommended that instead of writing comments in the chat that I make a report here to speak up instead, because the town hall chat is not the place for that. Her suggestion positions positivity over a necessary call-in to the president of our organization who called a known neo-Nazi a good guy and cried about him. A more disenfranchised coworker who watched the president sympathize with Charlie Kirk called what he said and did tone deaf, and on 9/11 no less, an already deeply sensitive day of national trauma. Said coworkers shared the negative impact of the president's words caused them trauma and harm, and they disclosed they talked to other similarly marginalized folks who even went so far as to leave the meeting altogether in complete and utter disgust. I was also personally traumatized, not only hearing about what the president had done, but also from the treatment that I received from having publicly spoken up, only to then sit through a themed parody of a corporate game show reporting metrics. As the HR representative agreed, a deeply insensitive display. Our organization is better than what we saw yesterday. From doing a basic Google search, I see that the president's salary is currently $2,205,837. He operates from a place of immense privilege on top of his being both white and a man. Him sympathizing with a famous neo-Nazi at the beginning of our meeting was not only completely unnecessary, but communicated to everyone in attendance who had heard about it or who had heard about it through word of mouth, loud and clear. Countless students, faculty, staff, and historically intentionally targeted groups of which this organization claims to serve, that they are not safe here. And in a nation currently rife with division and foundational eugenics inequities, we must do better. My hope is that in making this report, this can be a learning opportunity for both the president and the larger community. Neo-Nazi sympathizing is not to be tolerated in or around our organization.